Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I am so exhausted, but I wanted to do a quick video because I've just been so busy just running around, unpacking, packing. Today I just had a photo shoot. I was helping my grandma the other day, but right now me and Izzy Poo, we're just getting ready for bed. I probably won't even post this until the morning because I'm so tired. But I haven't been doing my videos and I have to hold myself accountable because I have been wanting to talk about things, but I don't know. I feel like I had just been wanting to hear from God a little bit more and just really just trying to enjoy the time that I have with my family. So, um, something that really struck me in the last week was something that I was struggling with. I was I was thinking about my path and my future, and I know that we all know the Bible verse, God knows the plans that he has for us, and it's hard when it's like you trust God and you're like, okay, I know that whatever you have for me is good, but sometimes leading up to it, it can be hard because for me right now, it's so much letting go. It's so much, it feels like sorrow, and it's so much, it's just a lot. It's a lot. But something that I read, this is Matthew 36, not Matthew 36, I'm sorry. Matthew, what chapter is this? 26 verses 36 through 39. This is when Jesus is praying in the garden, and he says, Jesus says, sit here while I go pray. And then as he's praying, he says, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even to death. Stay here and watch with me. He's talking to the disciples, watch over me as I'm as I'm praying. And then he goes, this is Jesus, he says, oh my Father, if it is possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as you will. And this reminds me of although God knows the plans that he has for us, and we don't necessarily know what his plan is for our lives, or we may some of us may know our purpose, or some of us may have passions or things that we're doing, or we have a career, but we don't know the full plan that God has for our lives. And sometimes that plan is trials and tribulations, and sometimes those are filled with sorrow and depression or hurt and pains and ups and downs. And sometimes I was thinking about this, and I was like, if God showed me the full scope of my life and all of the pain and suffering or sorrow I would have to go through, would I be as willing as Jesus? And I don't know that I would. If I was Jesus and I knew I had to die for some people I ain't even met yet, some crazy people who was just out here sinning, and not only did I have to die for them, and it wasn't a quick death, they were going to torture me, spit at me, call me all these names, nail me on a cross, feed me some vinegar water, and I was just going to have to go through with that. And that's why I'm not Jesus. And that's exactly why I'm not Jesus. But sometimes I think about, of course, Jesus is the Son of Man, right? But also just about how Jesus was in a human body, just experiencing that. Imagine knowing from a young age that one day you were going to have to die. You just knew. It's okay, poo-poo. You just knew that you were going to have to die for the sins of other people. But as you're a baby, you don't really understand the capacity of that, because like you're just like a baby, but you like know that that's going to happen. And as you're getting older and you know that these things are going to happen, and then you meet Judas and you know that, and you're still supposed to love this person, and you know that they're going to betray you, but you just love them and you give them love and you forgive them and you accept them into your circle and you still disciple them. Like, would I still do my path or my passion? Like, would I still go down that path? And I think that's the beautiful thing about the life of Christ, is that although he knew his story and although he knew that he was going to rise at the end, he still had to make the decision to go through with all of the pain and suffering. And I wonder if, like, sometimes I think about that, like, if God really showed me everything, would I be willing to go through all of that pain and suffering? And I think that that's the beauty of not knowing the plans that God has for you, is that there's beauty in the unknown, and it's beauty in God being omnipotent. Because if we were on his level of knowledge, I think that it would destroy a lot of people, including myself. So I think it's beauty in the struggle, the beauty in the unknown, of just living, following God in the best way, and just putting one foot in front of the other. Like Jesus literally says, "Oh my Father, if this cup cannot pass away from me unless I drink it, your will be done." I'm just gonna think about that. Okay, that's all for Bible study. Thank you for popping in with me, because I'm so tired. But yeah, just take a moment and ponder about that. If God showed you his whole plan for your life, every time that you were going to cry, every time you were going to experience pain, you're suffering, the people who are going to betray you, would you still love them the way that Jesus still loved Judas? Jesus literally said to Judas, "Friend." He called him friend in the midst of being betrayed by him, probably with the most compassion in his voice. Would you still commit to your purpose? Even if you knew that your purpose was going to be amazing. But what if you about to get dragged through the mud? Anyways, pray on that. Pray on that. Bye.